Let's play a game called pattern recognition. I'll go first, and you can feel free to tell me if I go wrong anywhere. Bayer is a pharmaceutical company that makes drugs to treat non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, among other things. Monsanto is a biotechnology and agrochemical corporation that makes the herbicide glyphosate. Coincidentally, it's linked to non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, among other things. Bayer just bought Monsanto, and now we've gone full circle, but I'm the conspiracy theorist for recognizing that the same people that are making the problem are also selling you the solution. Okay.
Hey, welcome to the channel, everybody. Hope you're doing well. So, before we begin, I feel I should point out my last episode, every single time, has been removed by YouTube and the channel has acquired a strike. So, I had a feeling this was going to happen, but it was up for about a week and then they finally took it down. So I'm surprised it was up as long as it was, but by YouTube removing that episode, it just goes and proves the point of everything that was in that episode and everything that I was trying to say. You can't criticize the noses, you can't talk about the noses, and you certainly cannot notice the noses. And there's a lot of noticing going on. As soon as you do, they take you down. They censor you, they pull your stuff down. It is just amazing. And it makes me wonder how people like Ian and Candace can actually talk about what they do and their stuff gets to stay up. Maybe it's because of the size of their audience and I'm a fraction of what they actually have, but it just really pisses me off, you know what I mean? I work really hard on these episodes and I put a lot into it, and then just for YouTube to say, no, we don't enjoy this, so we're gonna step on your freedom of speech. And guys, this is not a free society, okay? I don't care if you're in America, Canada, UK, wherever. How is this free speech? How do we live in a free world? We don't. We absolutely don't, man. It's just another case of big tech putting their boot on the neck of the little guy. And it's just always the way it's gonna be. So, on that note, I'm gonna have to hold off on part 2. I was gonna release part 2 today, but now I'm not so sure I'm going to. I'm going to release it, just not right now. I'm gonna go back through it, make sure I've censored what I need to censor. And maybe I'll put that out in a couple of weeks, but for now, we'll just do a clip from the cutting room floor to play it safe. You know, it is what it is. But before we begin, I want to give a big shout out to Even Power. Even Power has been making a lot of donations to both of my channels lately, supporting my efforts here, and that goes a long way as this is a viewer-funded channel, and YouTube will not monetize us, obviously. So thank you, Even Power, for all you've been doing for the channel. Really appreciate it, buddy. But with all of that out of the way, let's just get into it and see what we got today, guys. We are live.
Okay, I might have just cracked the code as to why thousands of bells were removed, hundreds of thousands of bells were removed throughout Europe and a lot of the world around the same time. Now, the mainstream official explanation for this just doesn't really hold too much water. I mean, something about efficiency or the old ways, in with the new, out with the old. But there may be something else going on here. And by the way, you can look at like hundreds of pictures like this of thousands of bells. They got rid of them all, and let's dig into maybe why. And what does this have to do with Spider-Man 3? Stay tuned. Did you know that there's an ancient kind of mythological thought that bells repel demons and that the devil hates bells? And even that copper bells in most temples, the sound emanating from them, copper kills the surrounding microbacteria as well as activates the 7 centers of the body? We're talking resonant sound waves. We're talking Nikola Tesla energy, frequency, and vibration. Now, the idea that bells repel and paralyze demons stems from widespread folklore and religious traditions across cultures, across thousands of years, across the world. Now, the idea is that resonant sound can drive away demonic forces and create a spiritually protected space. Think of a singing bowl. Now, do you remember what Venom's kryptonite was? What the weakness of Venom from Spider-Man was? Supersonic noises, such as the ringing of church bells. And what was Venom? A demonic, evil force that tried to mind control Spider-Man and take over his consciousness. And you can go watch a A-list Hollywood depiction of this happening in Spider-Man 3 when he rings the church bell and Venom cannot withstand it. So were ancient bells removed because they want more demonic activity around us? Officially, no. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below.
I mean, there could be something to that. I mean, certainly weird that they took them all
This milk has been sitting in my refrigerator for close to 6 weeks, and it is still perfectly safe to consume. That's because this is unpasteurized raw milk, and raw milk will not spoil like conventional milk does. Let me break it down for you. Raw milk is a living superfood very similar to human breast milk. It is packed full of gut-healthy bacteria. To consume it, for that milky sweetness, you want to drink it within the first 7 to 10 days. After that, it starts the process of fermenting into yogurt. All that gut-healthy bacteria starts to eat up a lot of the sugar and sweetness from the milk, and that is when the fermentation process starts. Pasteurized milk, on the other hand, is a dead food. The heating process kills off most, if not all, of the nutrients, so they load it full of synthetics to make up for it. Our bodies struggle to digest and absorb these synthetic nutrients, and that is actually why many people can't have dairy, but they can consume raw dairy just fine. And for those concerned about safety, please ask yourself, do you eat store-bought leafy greens or even pizza? You are way more likely to get sick consuming these foods. The numbers just are not there to justify all the fear-mongering. And many of these farms, like mine in New York State, must pass monthly rigorous testing from the state for cleanliness and hygiene. In fact, many large scientific studies have found a correlation between raw milk consumption and decreased rates of allergies, eczema, ear infections, eczema, fevers, and respiratory infections. And it also aids in recovery from antibiotic use with all of those good probiotics. So do not be scared of raw milk. Just make sure that you are sourcing it properly from a farm that you trust and get to know your farmer. You can head to my website, getholistic.org/raw milk, where you can find a bunch of information to support what I am saying to you, PubMed studies, as well as other research. And I also have 2 raw milk search engines linked there to find raw milk near you.
Yeah, it's kind of funny just how poisonous the food supply is these days. Mostly anything packaged or processed will harm you.
You there, second desk, blue jacket. What is your name?
My name is Alexis.
Alexis, please leave my lecture room. I don't want to see you at one of my lectures ever again.
I don't understand.
I am not going to ask a second time. Thank you. Why are there laws? What are laws for? Anyone?
Social order?
To protect the person's personal rights. So that you can rely on the government?
Justice? Thank you. Tell me, was I unfair to your classmate just now? Indeed I was. So, why didn't any of you protest? Why didn't any of you try and stop me? Why didn't you want to prevent this injustice? You see, what you have just learnt, you wouldn't have understood in 1,000 hours of lectures unless you lived it. You didn't say anything because you weren't affected yourself. And this attitude speaks against you and against life. You think it doesn't concern you, so it's none of your business. Well, I'm here to say, if you don't help bring about justice, then one day you too may experience injustice, and there will be nobody there to stand before you. Truth and justice lives through us all, and we must fight for it. Because in life and work, we often live next to each other, but not with each other. We console ourselves that the problems of others are nothing to do with us, none of our business. And we go home glad at night that we're spared, but it's about standing up for each other. Every day an injustice happens in business, sport, or on the tram. Relying on someone else to take care of it is not good enough. It is our duty to be there for others, to speak up for others when they cannot. I am here to teach you the power of your voice. I want you to learn critical thinking to empower you to stand up for what is right, even if it means going against what everyone else is doing. Let's begin.
Yeah, that's pretty powerful right there, and I couldn't have said it any better myself. It takes a lot of guts to do what people like me are doing, and I'm not putting myself on a pedestal, but it's your duty to speak
So if
up.
your houseplants are capable of sensing telepathic communication and participating in telepathic communication, it's been shown that if you have houseplants that have been in your life for even a few months, if you put EEGs on those and then you send the person who takes care of those out of the house, send them some distance away, the moment they come within 2,000 meters or 2 kilometers from the home, the plants all perk up. They can feel the person coming from 2 kilometers away. And so if plants are that sentient, that they are that connected, even in a pot in your house, totally disconnected seemingly from nature, if that thing is feeling 2 kilometers of space and then waiting for the excitement of being like, the person who loves me, the person who planted me is coming back. How phenomenal. Like,
Yep. That's wild. Huh. There's a deeper rabbit hole there we're gonna have to go down.
Come?
You think aliens are coming? Or you think...
Baby, I think they will.
Yeah.
Did you see some of these people walking around? You like, okay. Okay. I see you not swallowing. I see you not swallowing, baby. Yes, indeed. Why? You ain't blinked in 6 minutes. I saw that. Yeah.
Well, if you're going to go there, then I'm going to go right there with you, because I've been faking like I didn't see that. But yeah, I really go there all the time. Yeah, I don't even think half of these people on TV or whatever we're seeing, I don't even think they're human. It might be some AI shit they cooked up to get us to look over here while they're stealing all our money. But, I don't even know if they're real human. I don't know if they're alien or what, or if they're, I don't know.
I want y'all to look at my neck. I got a fat neck. You see that, Roseanne?
I do. Look at mine, it's all
Right.
wrinkled.
If y'all see another Monique and that neck ain't fat,
Are you saying that you think they take people out and clone them and put a robot in their place?
well, this is what I'm saying. I don't know what they doing. What I know is our eyes, it's like you almost saying, are my eyes deceiving me? Am I saying what I think I'm saying? So I don't know what they're doing. I'm just telling y'all, if you see me and my neck ain't fat.
Yeah, there's some suspicious stuff going on. I can't tell you how many times Biden walked out where I just thought, what the fuck?
This is a panorama of the electric tower from the 1901 World's Fair in Buffalo. Just look at that roaring waterfall, with water being pumped right in from the Niagaras. I'll show you footage of the rest of this World's Fair in another video. But just look at this tower alone. Does this look like it was built in 2 years' time? And then they demolished it 6 months later? I don't know what temporary material you're using, but in the harsh Buffalo winters alone, there's no way you'd build that temporarily and it would survive any inclement weather in Buffalo.
Not in
And
plaster.
why would anyone waste their time with so much detail just for it to be torn down in 6 months?
Exactly.
What a waste. This video alone should dispel the narrative. How are you making a roaring waterfall like that for a temporary structure? And that's just one of the massive waterfalls at this World's Fair. And before I go, here's a few more photos of this electric tower lit up at night. Question everything, friends. Until next time.
Yeah, that's just it, right? There's something that doesn't The math doesn't math on the world fairs. It just doesn't.
We wait for you to get sick, and you do. Then once you are sick, we don't restore your health. The doctor gives us a toxic pill which makes us sicker and keeps us sick. We merely manage your symptoms. So we can manage your high blood pressure, we can manage your cholesterol, we can manage your pain, your arthritis pain, we can manage your diabetes. We don't cure you. The current healthcare system is a hoax. It is not a healthcare system, it is a disease management system. We need to have a revolution in healthcare.
100%. And anyone who disagrees with that, tell me exactly why you disagree.
It's a byproduct that they can't do anything with. It's a poison, so they sell it.
You allow industry to use your water supply to dispose of their hazardous waste. It was a scam from the get-go. It is a means of getting rid of fluoride. It's a disposal mechanism.
It's bizarre. Fluoridation is the worst recycling practice in the world.
Fluoride is starting to get bad press. And if that bad press continued, everyone would start connecting the dots to you and your fluoride river dumping frenzy. If that happens, you're going to be buried with expensive lawsuits. It would be the end of you. So if you want to survive this and thrive, then you got to do something drastic. You got to find a way to change the public's perception of fluoride from this toxic, poisonous chemical to something that's good for you. And this effort to rebrand fluoride into a healthy chemical would be one of the greatest propaganda efforts known to mankind. It's why today, fluoride has seeped into everything. It's in your toothpaste.
Chemical? You're gonna put some chemical in my mouth?
Tap water, table salt, bottled water.
It's in everything. And one of the biggest effects of it is that it makes you passive and it makes you not want to raise your voice.
It's been very, very depressing watching big tech kidnap their lives and to see children really finding it very, very difficult to get properly interested in anything that isn't a screen, swarming like blue bottles around any screen that appears in the room instantly and tragically. Or if you take them on some fun outing, you know, within 6 minutes, and I'm sure a lot of the people on this webinar have had the same experience who have kids, you know, 20 minutes in, 45 minutes in, can we go home now? Can we go home now? Can we go home now? Because they're so desperate to get back to a screen. And the exhausting nature of parenthood under these circumstances, year after year, month after month, day after day, fighting the children, no, give that back, or no, we agreed you could have 20 minutes on Saturday and you've had half an hour, on and on. Why are you going to see Tommy and not Johnny? It's because we know Tommy's allowed endless screen time, and it's shattering. And so it was extremely surprising and extremely depressing when you get emails from the school about, or the new school you've sent your kid to, saying proudly, and we give all our children their own Chromebook or their own iPad. And you just think, what? How could that be a good idea? If school is for anything, surely they deserve just 6 hours off from their addiction, from this crazy addiction.
And that's what it is. It's an addiction. And it's not just in children, it's largely in adults too. But again, bread and circuses, and the phone is a circus that fits in your pocket.
What did you have for breakfast this morning? I had a glass of water this morning for breakfast.
What did you have for breakfast yesterday?
I had a glass of water for breakfast yesterday morning.
So last time you had ate anything other than water?
Oh, it's been quite a while. The last time I had a full meal was, or what most people would consider a full meal, over 20 years ago. My eating habits are a little strange. I took
one would say.
I took a class from Raymond back in the mid-90s, and he was discussing about how these same concepts are, that energy is everywhere and you put your energy in the water. And one of the techniques that he was teaching was how to solve a problem using a glass of water. And to do that, you would drink part of the water, put your intention in the water, sleep on it, drink the other half of the water in the morning, and you would have the answer to your question that you were asking. And I thought if we have the ability to do that, eating was something I never enjoyed anyway. Why not?
You are strange.
Why not put all of my vitamins and minerals and nutrients into the water? And since then, my health has greatly improved. Where I used to be considered one of the most allergic people on the planet, I can be around cats and dogs now, and all kinds of things, trees, everything used to break me out, and it was quite interesting. So it's been a complete metamorphosis for me.
But you don't just drink water, you treat the water and
Yes.
you try.
What I do is using that technique. There was another technique that Raymond had taught. It's harnessing energy from the ethers coming down into yourself and putting all of those things into that particular glass of water. And now, after years of doing this, I now have it that I can do it very quickly, so I don't even remember the last time I had solid food. I was quite a bit lighter than this, and I got married about 8 years ago. And with my marriage, I found some other interesting things, and that was some belief systems that went back in my family for many generations. And I've gained 40 pounds since I got married, not eating.
On water.
On water. So I know this.
So how does that work? How does that work?
If I quit drinking the water, nothing happens. I just get weak.
So what's going on here?
The only thing I can figure is his body has a belief system that we have not yet defined enough to address. And what I have found is that our bodies have belief systems. The various parts of our bodies have belief systems that are brain.
And that's why you're indoctrinated early. That is why, guys. More on this to come.
This one box of corn seed right here cost me $17,000. The good news is this one single seed right here only cost me about 4/10 of 1 penny. There's 4 million of them in every single one of these boxes. Divided by roughly 34,000 seeds per acre, each one of these boxes does about 118 acres, which means that specific seed comes out to about $144 per acre. Now there are different types of seed, different companies, different traits, different hybrids, all kinds of calculations that go into that. That specific seed that I showed you, that one box, is our most expensive seed this year anyway. These boxes over here, these soybean boxes, those are a different story. We'll get to that later. Most likely this information is not necessarily relevant to you. I just thought some people might enjoy learning that.
Now you might be thinking, what does that have to do with anything? Well, let's go.
The seed companies are essentially bullying farmers into buying their seeds, which is another reason why your food is becoming so expensive. So you probably didn't know this, but farmers can be and will be sued if they plant their own seeds. Farmers don't own the rights to the genetics of their own seeds, unless they're using heirloom seeds. So in order to have the right to plant these seeds, we have to pay a fee. The seed company can actually come onto your property, check your plants, and if the plant has any trace of their genetics, they sue the farmer. So all that hard work growing the plant, yeah, we don't own it. And the seed companies love to remind us this by saying, we know you bought our seed last year, so if you don't buy seed again from us, we're gonna be auditing you. So my order of 3 totes just came in, enough to plant 300 acres of soybeans, and to have the right to plant them, it cost me over $30,000.
As annoying as that guy is, he's definitely onto something. Monsanto is big on this.
Have you ever noticed from the moment we're kids, in every generation, in almost every country, we're shown the same messages again and again? Cartoons, school books, TV shows, films, adverts, even documentaries. The same pattern everywhere. Here's what we're being trained to believe. Healthy, low-calorie, high-protein plastic tub barcode gym aisle, not eggs, not broth, not slow food that made us strong. In the UK, kids now get nearly 60% of their calories from ultra-processed food. No one's warning us. Farming, it's painted as backwards, dirty, outdated, not powerful, not beautiful, not sacred. Meanwhile, 10 companies control nearly everything you see in the supermarket. Land, it's sold as a lifestyle, something to visit, never something to fight for. But since the 1970s, over 70% of the world's small farmers have lost their land, pushed out by machines, chemicals, and mega corporations. And most people didn't even notice. Community, it's painted out to be cute, not cool. something for sitcoms, not for real life. In reality, you're told be efficient, be independent, be alone. And while the world scrolls past each other, up to 40% of young people say they feel lonely often. Traditional food, too slow, too heavy, too much effort. So we swap butter for powders, sourdough for protein bars, and forget that this food is what made us human. And this isn't just culture, it's programming. Because when we stop growing, cooking, sharing, and protecting what matters, we stop remembering who we are.
Exactly. Exactly. You kind of see where I'm going with this episode?
Let me ask you a question. Do you ever just wonder why the world always feels like it's in crisis? You know, every few months, it's something new, isn't it? A war, a pandemic, a cyber attack, or a new emergency that suddenly needs all of our attention. Every single time, the solution just so happens to give the governments more control. This isn't a coincidence, you know, it's a complete strategy. They call it the Hegelian dialectic. It's one of the oldest psychological weapons in the book. Okay, so here's how it works. Step one, the problem. They create or they exaggerate a crisis. It could be real, it could be staged, it really doesn't matter as long as it sparks fear. Then you've got step two, the reaction. The public always panic, they always demand action, they want safety, they want someone to fix the issue. So then comes step three, the solution. The same people who created the crisis, they come forward with the pre-planned fix. You know, more laws, more surveillance, more dependency. And the crowd, we all just applaud along, not realizing that we have just stepped into a psychological trap. Like, I say this all the time, government in Latin means to governare mentis, to govern your mind, to mind control, right? This isn't politics, it's psychology. It's not about left or right, it's about manipulation, control. Because once you understand human fear, you don't need to force people to do anything, you just guide them with their emotions. And this pattern is honestly ancient, you know. Empires have used this to justify wars for thousands of years. Religions used it to control behavior, and modern governments use it now just to upgrade with the media. I mean, just think about some of the situations in our life, like, you know, the 9/11. That created fear, it justified wars and then mass surveillance. Or what about the 2020 pandemic that we all lived through, you know? Panic justified the lockdowns, the digital passes and the mass censorship. And it just all rolls in. You know, everyone just accepts it like it's the next best thing. What about these 2025 cyber attack threats, you know? The solution is digital ID and total online traceability. They call it protection, but it's protection from a problem that they designed. Honestly, it's that crazy that even the opposites, the oppositions of each side are part of the same game. They create both sides so the public fights upon each other, you know, whilst the real architects of the system sit above it all, sipping their wine and watching the chaos unfold. The Hegelian dialectic doesn't just control governments, it controls us. It's how marketing works, it's how the news traps us with our emotions, you know. Fear makes humans reactive, and when you're reactive, you're programmable. They push you into survival mode so they can stop you thinking critically. And once fear becomes normal, obedience then becomes like safety, you know? That is the real matrix that we live in, not a digital cage, but a mental cage built from emotional triggers. So listen up right now, the only way that we are going to get out of this dialectic is to rise above the polarity, you know? Stop reacting to what they feed you. Stop letting emotion become your leash. When you observe without fear, you break this fucking cycle, trust me. That's when you stop being the pawn in their chessboard and start becoming the observer, the soul awake inside the simulation. They can't control everything. They can control the narrative, but they can't control our awareness, because once you see the script, you stop playing this role. And ultimately, I think that is when humanity is going to realize that the biggest revolution isn't outside, it's within. But obviously, don't listen to me. I'm just for entertainment, and I'm as fictional as a dinosaur, baby.
That's right. Everything he said is true, but don't believe anything that he said because you'll get in trouble. But Yeah.
If you don't understand this trick, you will be easy to manipulate. It's been used by the government, by big corporations, and by the media to control public thought and behavior. This is how people use numbers that are technically true to make things sound way scarier or way safer than they actually are. Here's the trick. Absolute risk is the real chance of something happening. Think about a jar with 10,000 marbles in it and only one of them is red. Your chance of picking the red marble is 1 in 10,000. That's the absolute risk. Now, relative risk compares two tiny numbers to make one of them sound huge. So if there's another jar and it has 2 red marbles, they'll say, you have 100% more chance of getting a red marble in this jar than you do in this jar. Well, your chance went from 1 in 10,000 to 2 in 10,000, both small numbers, but your chance has doubled. Relative risk is the favorite tool of fearmongers because it makes a tiny number sound huge. Absolute risk shows the real world odds. Now watch how this plays out. You've seen the headline, you're 840 times more likely to get sick from raw milk than from pasteurized milk. That's a relative risk number. It is technically true, but the absolute risk of getting sick from raw milk is about 1 in 13,000 for the people who drink it. That is less than 1/100th of 1%. They pulled the same move with COVID vaccines. Do you remember the headlines? The Pfizer vaccine is 95% effective. That number was blasted everywhere. But here's the truth. That was the relative risk reduction. When you dig into the actual trial data, the absolute risk reduction, the real difference between the vaccinated and the unvaccinated groups was about 0.8%. Less than 1%. They could have said this shot lowers your actual risk by less than 1%, but they didn't. They went with the bigger, scarier sounding number, 95%. And people made life-changing decisions based on that framing. It wasn't technically a lie, but it was incredibly misleading. And that should make you angry because it shows how much public opinion can be manipulated by the way statistics are presented. So whether it's food safety or medicine, statistics can be technically true, but still used to trick you. Next time you hear a scary or amazing number in a headline, ask, are they talking about relative risk or absolute risk? Relative risk, it sells headlines. Absolute risk tells the truth.
It's a really good point right there. You know, all you got to do is start digging into it and you'll see for yourself.
How dark it is. They abducted the mama and these 4 kids. They took these kids to a house. They let everybody on the border know, if anybody wants in on this, this is how much it costs. This is what's going on. Contact this person. We'll come across the border and get you. They killed the infant in front of their brothers and sisters and in front of the mama. Then they tortured and murdered the mama in front of the kids. And in that terrorized, horrible state, with their dead mutilated brother and their dead mutilated mother, then these people paid big money to molest them in that state of trauma. That's how bad it is. And that is fueled, it is funded by porno. If you are a part of pornography, I'm telling you, you are a part of child trafficking. They're Americans that paid money to do that because they're addicted to pornography.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. Pornography is one of the biggest issues that we have in society right now. It's addictive, it's pacifying, and it has no good effects on your mental health. Absolutely zero. It has always been a very effective tool, especially against men. So if I have one piece of advice for the young men out there, resist pornography with everything that you have, because it is one of the darkest vices on the face of this planet. And that's no joke. Well, that's what I got today, guys. There's definitely a lot to think about here, and there's definitely a lot of things that connect. But at the end of the day, it's all about being pacified. And there's a lot of things that are pacifying you, okay? It's the constant fear that they bombard you with. It's the poisonous food that they bombard us with. Everything is tainted. But don't think that this is all fear, that there's no way around this. There absolutely is a way around this, but it all comes from you yourself. You have to have the strength and the courage to resist it. In other words, if you know this food is bad for you, you gotta find a way to not eat it. You gotta find a way to get something more healthy in your diet, whether that means cooking for yourself, growing your own food if you can, or knowing someone who grows their own food, or knowing a trusted farmer you can go to. It's not easy, but it's something that has to be done. Turning off the media that manipulates you, not watching mainstream news, finding alternative sources of trusted news, trusted media altogether. That is huge. Basically, you have to find a way to create a parallel society within this society. And that doesn't mean that we have to go and build a new city somewhere and, we have to just go live off-grid in the woods. Not saying that that's a bad thing, but that's not necessarily what has to happen. You can create a parallel society within the one we live in. You just have to stay out of Walgreens, stay out of Walmart, stay out of Safeway, stay out of Sobeys, stay out of all these places, these conglomerates. Go to a farmer's market. Go shop at mom and pop shops and local places. Shop local. And places that maybe share your views on things. Maybe you know some of the people who work there or who own it that very much see the world the way that you do. These are the people that we should be supporting. And it's easier said than done. All right, now you might be thinking, well, that's an easy solution. Yes, on paper, but practice it. It's a little bit tougher. It's not easy when there's a Walmart on every corner, or a Tim Hortons or a McDonald's on every corner. It's convenience, right? And they've done this on purpose. They've made it very, very convenient to buy their poison. But all we can do is resist, and all we can do is use our voices. That's all we can do, man. But the more of us that do it, eventually we are going to wake up the ones that are just locked asleep, that just cannot be awakened. If it's one thing that we know, they like to go along with the crowd. So we just need to get the crowd big enough on our side that they go along with us. But that's just my opinion. But anyways, that's what I got today, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Go ahead and leave a comment. I'll see you again in the next one. Till then, 80 Canadian. Signing out.